Hey, it's Bill, and you're tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer, right here on PARockShow.com, MegaRockRadio.net, and 107.1 FM KFGD, St. Louis, Missouri. Roo Radio on the beaches of San Diego, California. It's rootooradio.com, xrpradio.co.uk in the Highlands of Scotland, oldiesxl.com in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and buildscene.com/radio. This is episode number 638 of the Pennsylvania Rock Show. And with me tonight are the gentlemen from Blood Union. Let me get them all up on the screen. I called you gentlemen. I don't know if you heard that.
Been called worse.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys real quick, I know in the video it shows all your names, but in the podcast and the radio show it will not. So I want you each introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the band.
I'm Ron
Who wants to
Gallucci.
start?
I'm Gooch and bass player.
Oh man, Benji, the drummer, and I do background vocals and moral support.
Jay Snyder, lead guitar, and just all-around talent in the band.
They're all nodding.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm Tim. I sing and play some guitar.
Tim may be having some internet issues.
Yeah, you might.
Yep, there he goes. All right, well, when he comes back, we'll ask him the same questions we ask you guys. So I'm going to start off with some of those cliche questions that you would get in a normal interview before we go into my normal line of questions. So where did the name Blood Union come from?
Actually, it was a name I was holding on to for a while, and me and Tim actually started this band just to write some different songs, and start out that way. It was just two words I threw together, and I'm like, man, that's gonna be a cool band name one of these days. I was just waiting to do something, and then me and Tim started doing stuff, and I was like, let's call it Blood Union, and just took off from there pretty much.
Tim, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can, but you can't see me. I don't know what's going on.
No, we can
See you.
We can see you. You just can't see you, apparently. And
yeah.
Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on data?
I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm pretty close to my router though. I might have to move actually downstairs, right up near it.
You're the
I have a
best you've been
booster
yet.
right behind here. It's not doing too well.
We'll work with it. If you need to go get to try and just go. I sound like a teacher now. If you feel like you're going to throw up, just go. Don't tell me. Get up and go.
If you have to go to the bathroom, just go.
So how did you you said that you and Tim kind of started writing together. How did Benji and Ron end up in the band?
Actually, Blood Union has went through a lot of personnel changes, just trying to find the right guys. And me and Tim kind of just Tim was super busy with bands. I was busy with bands, so we kind of just put Blood Union on hold. And actually, why all of us are back playing together again is because COVID. I think all of us were bored when we started talking. And Gooch was in the band with us too there for a while. He was like the second to last guy that we knew we needed. And then looking for a drummer, Tim was like, hey, let's get Benji in. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then once COVID hit, we just got together and just wrote a couple songs, and now it's been taken off really, really, really good, really quick too.
Yeah, if you listen to the Blood Union songs, there's three songs from that were recorded back in 2014, 2015
Yeah.
Wicked,
What You Lost.
What You Lost, and then they were
Killing
older
Me.
songs with a different drummer. Since the World Apart on, that's been us four.
You guys, are you all in the Johnstown area?
Yeah, give or take. We're all around that area.
I drive through there and stop at Sheets every once in a while.
Which Sheets? We have about 20 of them.
All right, so there's the one near why am I blanking on the name of the field? The baseball stadium.
Point.
Point Stadium.
Johnstown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's downtown. We're up in the mountains. We live up on the hillsides.
well, see, I'm going through there on my way to my brother's house. He lives in completely blanked on it. He lives in Zion, but that's not his address. It's Bellefonte.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
up outside of State College area.
Yeah. But yeah, that one, and then wow, I can't think of where. I can see it because they all look, but I can't
Probably-
give you a.
Probably in Evansburg, you probably stop at one.
Well, we do stop there too
Yeah.
sometimes, but it depends on who's with me, and if the kids are with me, we stop a lot more often than we do if it's just me. But anyway, let's shift into my oddball questions. This is the second time I'm asking this question. First time was last episode. If you could sit down to dinner with any 4 people in the history of the world, who would you invite to eat with you?
Wow.
Should we each give you one or what?
You can
Or all
you can
four.
each
Give
give
me
me 4 if you can come up with 4.
Dead or alive?
See, normally I ask my DeLorean question. You're going to get a DeLorean later. You can use it.
Mm.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
My choice would be Mr. Diamond David Lee Roth. That would be my choice if I could sit down and have dinner with somebody, because I know it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Slash would be mine.
I'm going to throw you for a loop. I'd probably have to say Freddie Mercury. I'm a huge Queen fan. That's
I do see it now. Yeah.
Is that your sheets or no?
it's my boxers. How about them?
Me? Oh, I don't know. I'd do some oddball stuff. I'd probably be like, oh, geez, like Gandhi and like Elvis and Ally Schickelgruber, if you know who that is. Probably not. Oh, geez. Political people. Somebody from today. Oh, my goodness. Nobody political. I don't know. Oh, geez. I don't know. Somebody that's like very unilateral, like peaceful, kind of like has a good way to like, phrase things. Somebody that's makes sense. Ringo Starr. How about that? That'd be cool. Maybe an old Beatle, Paul McCartney. Maybe that would be neat.
That stupid meme has come up again. Have you seen that thing where when Paul was playing with Kanye and none of Kanye's fans knew who Paul was?
No, like, Kanye's gonna give this old guy some,
Yeah.
some likes.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
I was annoyed by that. I'm not even I'm about to say something that might offend some people, but I said it multiple times on the show. I'm not really a Beatles fan, but without them, we wouldn't be where we are.
I am not either. Actually, I'm influenced by musically of all the bands that were influenced by the Beatles. If that makes sense. All my biggest influence are bands that were heavily influenced. I like the Beatles, but
So even if you think that you don't like the Beatles, or somebody did something because of the Beatles that you like.
Right. And there are
But I,
Beatles,
but I,
there are
I know
Beatles
what you
songs
mean.
that I like. That's
Mhm.
just not, they're not like I've never gone out and bought any music from the Beatles.
Yeah.
I've never, but if certain Beatles songs come on, I listen to them, and and certain ones come on, I turn them off.
Yeah.
I've bought more stuff from them from their solo years than
Yeah.
I've ever bought from the actual band themselves, like George Harrison and
Mhm.
John Lennon and stuff like that. So
Well, here, since I've kind of got us in the direction of influences, let's say you guys are headed out on your first big tour, and for some reason you hire me to drive your tour bus. That's
please.
a bad idea. But anyway,
No, it's a good idea, but go ahead.
and so we're driving in between stops. What's the soundtrack going to be? What are we going to be listening to?
Oh, everything. Seriously,
Yeah.
you have such a wide variety of influences with the four of us together.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. We go places influence wise that you wouldn't even expect. I think that's what makes us so rich with our songwriting and stuff. I really do.
Yeah. There's like a 5% pool of just everything. We're taking 5% of this, 5% of that, 5% of this. And it's just like, if someone would ask Gooch what his influences are, you'd be like, oh, well, yeah, now I can hear. You can't really hear it until he tells you. Then, like, oh yeah, I hear it now. And it's the same way with Benji and Tim and myself. I mean, you can hear just a little bit of it. There's obscure stuff that pops out, and everything that we like individually that comes out in music. I'd have never guessed that you guys listen to that, and like it's all over the spectrum for sure.
It is, really is.
Real quick, in between asking questions, those of you that are watching live, if you comment on the videos on YouTube and Facebook, they will show up on our screen and we can interact with you. So if anybody has any questions, you can throw them up. And if I like the question, I may ask it. If I don't, I won't respond to it. So let's do the DeLorean question since I mentioned it already.
Go ahead. Shoot
Nice.
away.
So you're leaving a show, and there's the DeLorean sitting there with its door open and a flux capacitor in the back seat. So clearly you're going to jump in because you can bring it back the exact same time. Nobody will know you borrowed it. What band are you going to go hang out with, and at what time?
There's a lot.
I'll go first. I'm going
Yeah.
to say Van Halen, 1977, 78, probably Gazaris or something like that. Like when they're just starting to make a little bit of steam, in what they're doing. I think about that all the time. Like, man, I don't want to go back and see anything.
Now Jay's having internet issues.
I think seeing Eddie playing and Diamond Dave on top of his game and the whole band and just people just like, what is going on?
I agree with Jay on that. Sunset Strip, 77, 78. There was a lot of stuff going on there that didn't get the credit. I mean,
Yeah.
you had bands like Van Halen, Montrose, Cheap Trick, and all those bands playing all those clubs at that time. The Runaways.
Yep.
And it seems like everybody, when they say the Sunset Strip era, they always think of the 80s, but they don't realize what was going on in the late 70s back then. That'd be really neat to see that.
Anybody else want to answer that one?
Oh, I'd love to go
That's
down
the
to see
same- it's the
Woodstock,
same for me.
whatever that
Jay.
was. Or AC/DC when they first started in Australia, that'd be cool.
Tim, are you lagging on us a little bit? That's a yes.
Yeah.
No, I'm just hanging back. No, I feel the same way Jay does, really, with even like going a little bit further into their Van Halen's first tour when they were blowing Ozzy and Sabbath off the stages in Europe and stuff. I would have been like to see that be in the middle of all that, or maybe the tour when Elvis and freaking Johnny Cash were on the same bill and they're driving around together I don't know. There's a lot of history there that you could a lot of parties you could have been involved in. First time Zeppelin played on a stage in England somewhere, or first time, whatever. Even if I'm not a big Zeppelin head, that's just history you just want to be there for. But the Van Halen thing is definitely in us. I know Jay and I are huge fans.
That was a crazy time back then. A lot of history in the music, because like a lot of people don't realize that AC/DC, the amount of albums they had out that were never released in the United States until they broke, like Dirty Deeds and stuff like that. They were released 3 or 4 years after they actually came out originally. They was never on a. So that I just think that whole music scene back there in the mid to late 70s was very interesting.
There's probably still a lot of stuff that's on vinyl from that era that people missed out on because that cream didn't rise to the top, but it's probably still top-notch stuff.
Yeah. Even for me, having older brothers, first time I heard Styx, The Grand Illusion, from front to back, that album just completely blew my mind. It was the melodies and this. That's when I realized, but what you could really do with music, you can make people feel things. And again, that's the late 70s stuff. That's that shaped the 80s, whether people want to admit it or not. It did,
Yeah, and I don't think you really get that kind of vibe from newer music anymore. I mean, there's bands that'll pop up every now and then and move a little bit of hair on your arms, but me personally, I think music is fast food anymore. It's so processed, By the time you get to the end of the song, you don't think about that song ever again. It's fast food. It's the same way you're eating a Big Mac. The Big Mac's good until you're done with, and then you don't think about it anymore. To go home and like, I had a really good Big Mac. Like, yeah, everybody's had a Big Mac. You don't ever have those. Yeah, you don't ever have those stories where I just heard this song and I don't know what it is. I have to find it. This song, it moves something in me, and you really don't see a lot of that or hear a lot of that anymore, I should say.
Yeah.
Let's go with a legend. So Robert Johnson, the blues guitarist. See some. I figured you guys. Yeah. Sometimes I bring him up and people are like, "Who?"
Who?
No. All right. So Robert Johnson, the legend is that he was a terrible guitar player and tried to force his way on stage, and they kind of pushed him out of the scene. And he was going for a year. He comes back, and now he can play. And so my question is, if you were standing at the crossroads, like they say he did, waiting for the devil to show up, what are you going to sell your soul for musically?
Wow.
To write a song that I'd hear 30 years later still being played on the radio. That's always been mine.
You're in the right area for that.
I know. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, Down Boys from Warrant. This was number 1 on our local radio station here 2 weeks ago. So, no.
Anybody else?
I'd say just so I could play any instrument you handed to me, I could play. That would be my my crossroads deal.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a lot to think about. What do you think, Ben?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I guess on that same lines, this is like kind of like an odd thing, but yeah, everybody would think about it. Kind of like what Gooch said, have that staying power. If you could write one song that no matter what the genre was, whether people accepted it or not, maybe it would like kind of unify people. They would find a common thread to it and say, wow, yeah, that
like Journey's Don't Stop Believing. That's just
like a really good message that everybody can identify with, and then you could keep doing that over and over again and be like you said, stay viable and not that you want to say to be remembered, but still kind of prevalent in people's minds, I guess. And stay fresh. Always stay fresh, musically. That might be a good thing.
So, what's a song that you didn't write that you wish you would have written? Since you guys are, you like laid that one up for me.
Didn't write. Go ahead, Tim. You start this one off. He's gonna say Yankee
It's
Rose
like,
or something.
not it.
Not it. No, gee. Oh, geez, I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good question.
There's so many songs. There's so many. I don't know. It's all going to come off cheesy. I would think. I'm thinking of all the ballads that made all that money, and I'm like, no. But then if I say something like that, then I'm thinking of leaving out so many other great pieces of music that are, like you said, Gooch, Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't a giant hit at one point. It was just an incredible song that nobody knew it about.
It was
a big fight. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was Mike Myers. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that is a very good question.
Yeah, I think you got all four of us stumped right now. I mean, wow.
We're not saying Stairway to Heaven. I can tell you that.
Hey, how about this? I'll switch the question for you. So I was Saturday, Jay and I were at the same place, and Skell was headlining, and I can't help myself when they're on stage. I end up singing along, and you don't want to hear that. But what is a band that you guys, you can't help yourself? You get into the moment and go with it. And while you're thinking, I'll keep talking. The reason I realized it, I was on my way home. I'm like, man, my throat hurts. What is wrong? Oh wait.
Oh wait, I was singing.
Yeah. My kids yell at me when I sing.
I've done that a lot. I mean, a lot of people are against it, but I did see the Queen tour with Adam Lambert singing, and I sang along with every song. Pretty much anytime I see Cheap Trick, who's another favorite of mine. There's a lot based on the bands that I'm really influenced by. I mean, a lot of these bands are go back to my childhood. You know what I mean? Like 7 years old here in Grand Illusion from Styx, then seeing them play that live on stage. I mean, stuff like that. But they're the stuff that I would sing along with, and I've done that. I've left shows with. We go way back with Scale. Me, Benji, and Tim do. I mean, back Inside Out days, we've known them when they were Whiskey High, so we know those guys well. So
I made a big mistake mentioning Whiskey High. So Whiskey High was before I started doing my thing, and I did a benefit concert that all the money that came through the door went to Rock for Life, and I contacted all the bands. I'm like, hey. Like even bands that weren't playing, I'm like, you guys have anything that I can give away? And so all these, I got like mugs and stickers and buttons, and they gave me a Whiskey High cassette, and I gave it away without listening to it.
Oh.
I believe Matt Franny took it.
Yeah,
I actually own that. I actually have a Whiskey High cassette. Believe it or not, that's somewhere.
But yeah, once I realized, everyone was like, "Oh, did you listen to him?" I'm like, no. They're like, "Why not?" I was like, "Oh no."
So I don't have a cassette player.
So to this day, I still haven't heard it. I bet I could ask Mikey and get one.
You probably find it on YouTube. I bet. Because I know some of Triple X's stuff and stuff. Those bands like that, their stuff's on YouTube now.
So this kind of plays into Saturday. So Scow had various singers come up on stage. If this is the official Build a Scene question, by the way, who's your Dave Grohl? And by that, I mean, what band do you want to go up on stage with and play one of their original songs? Because Dave brings people up with the Foo Fighters all the time.
That's another tough one. I mean,
Anyone?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
wow.
He's really hitting these, huh?
It's like, could you ask those cliche questions again?
How about Blood Union? I'd go up on stage and play a song with Blood Union. No, but I think that's the way I look at it too. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I honestly would want to go up on stage and play with somebody like that. I'd rather kind of do my own thing. Does that make sense? I'd rather watch them play their stuff than me go up there and destroy them. You know what I mean? I mean, it'd be great to go up and play a Rush song, but I would fail at that. But it's covering Geddy Lee's bass lines. But yeah, that's a very tough question. I would rather listen to Queen play a song than me go up there and play it with them. If that makes sense.
No, that's a cop out answer.
It is.
No, that's I'd want to be on stage with Guns N' Roses and do like My Michelle or something and just be standing by Slash and just watching him play and me messing up all my parts, you know.
Yeah. I'm gonna default to Diamond Dave getting to sing one for him or getting to sing one for one of my other faves, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. We played with him twice, and I could do his voice really well. I'd like him to say, "Hey Tim, go ahead and take one for me. Let me do this."
Tim could walk up on stage and step in for Tom Kiefer for a song or two.
No doubt there.
There's no doubt about that.
Nice.
Benji, what about you, buddy?
There's so many that I would like. I'm such a big fan of Troy Laketta, so I would say Tesla.
Oh yeah, Tesla. Yeah.
I love Tesla. Probably them. That'd be a cool.
What about Steve Vai, Benji? You could sit in for.
Oh, I know, but I didn't want to say that. I did not want to say that. I probably have about 7 songs I'd love to play with Steve Vai, but at least 7. The lucky number 7. Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, so here's where I put all of you on the spot at the same time with one question.
I can. Okay.
Oh no, wait. All right, so me and bands, embarrassing things happen from time to time. I want to know about something embarrassing that happened on stage, but you can't tell me something you did. You have to pick someone else in your band and tell me how they embarrassed you.
Wow.
Are you trying to break up the band?
Listen, I did this with Fist Fight in the parking lot, which was Abby from the X and Chris Ruane and all of them. And Abby wasn't there, but everybody else in the band told me a story about Chris Rudog. Every single one of them. He's like, "Really, Bill?"
I thought Tim and Benji were going to bring up the AC/DC moment when the false click in, and I started singing and nobody else joined in. So I just held the note out. I'm talking about myself. I'm not supposed to, but
yeah, when we did an AC/DC cover of "Are You Ready," which starts with an acapella voice, and again, "Are you ready?" And we all click, 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 and the rest of us walked away from the mic, and Gooch says, and there's like 300 people looking at him really while we're laughing. We never do anything.
I went on to the next syllable. I was like, "Are you looking around?" And nobody joined in. So I was like, "All right."
I don't think in Blood Union we've had that, what moment where we haven't. I'm trying to think.
It's funny that you use that term because I've had bands tell me about like band members having that exact problem.
Well, you know what?
Literally having that problem on stage.
We are 100% live, harmonies and all. And so if something happens on stage, we can usually regroup pretty quickly with eye contact. That's one thing that's great about this band. I mean, we're when you go to see Blood Union, we're 100% live. We don't play the tracks or anything. Not downing it, but I'm just saying we just don't do it. So we're fortunate enough that we can do 3-part harmonies and make them sound pretty good, But
So that didn't work. So I have to ask another
You
question.
just jinxed us though, because now we're gonna fall into each other. Something's gonna happen. Trey, do something. Fall off the stage.
So that didn't work. So now I have to put you on the spot in a different way. All
Go
right.
ahead.
So I want to know who you think has supported you the most as a musician over the years, but you're not allowed to pick a significant other or your parents.
Wow.
Tim
Well,
Frick.
I gotta say my brother Tim. He's
I gotta
always-
say
We have to
Tim
stick
too.
together.
Yep.
Jay, do you want to go with me on this one too? No.
Yeah,
No.
it might
I'm
be
gonna say-
a continuous circle. I mean, I think all of us, no matter what we're doing, like if I'm doing something and one of the guys make it out in the circle, and it's like supporting, and like when I'm not playing in 4 of my other bands, I try to make it out and see somebody, and especially in the group and stuff. I mean, I think the 4 of us, especially ever since COVID, have been really supportive of one another, which is kind of cool. Because a lot of times now, and it's annoying too, because you'll send somebody a message like, "Hey, we're playing," and I'm like, I got so much stuff to do. It's like, man, we're not asking you to give up and come up every show. Like, what you can make one time.
Yeah.
So it's great when we have that inner circle. I think that's why the 4 of us work really well together. You know, we're supportive of one another, and we definitely know that all of us are going to be there, or the show won't go on.
Yeah, I was out of the scene for a long time, and Tim continuously, come on, and so I'm glad he did though. I'm having a really good time right now. So
Coincidentally, that's what I was singing on Saturday. Come on,
I knew
come
it was
on, come
missing
on,
from
get
your
up.
life. Anyway.
Notice I stopped there. Get up.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay, so before we get too much further
Yeah.
in,
Well,
that's-
with brothers, it's definitely a thing.
give me an MTV moment. Tell me about the song that we're going to feature tonight.
Jack, Tim.
Yeah, I'll take the first half, and then Tim can come in with the second half. I mean,
Jay frozen. Uh-oh.
No, Tim
No,
was
I'm good.
frozen.
Tim was frozen. That song came. Well, the music
Do it quick.
kind of just comes through. I put a drum machine on. I kind of maybe hit on something will ping, and then I send it to those guys, and then like that's what's cool about this band is like I have this maybe a meat and potatoes idea, and then I bring it into these guys, and it's Gooch over there. Hey, just do that, change this, put this there, and Benji's back here just throwing down a drum beat that you couldn't never program and sound better. And then Tim just is standing in the corner, and you can just see him working something, and he comes right up into the mic, and even if he's just mumbling something, he has the melody line there and the cadence and everything. And then sometimes I step back at practice, and I'm like, and I hear what's coming out of the monitors and hear what's going on in the room. Like, that just started with me recording a couple bits and pieces of an idea and sending it to those guys, and just come in, and Tim's lyrics were always great. His melodies are really cool, and there's a lot of hooks and a lot of catchy stuff to what he does, and what everybody does in the band too. But Let Me In just came out as just me just working on something stupid where I always don't think anybody's gonna like what I send out, and then I send it out, and here we are now. It's over 30,000 streams, and it's because of those 3 guys right there too.
And,
What they
and
bring
it was
to the
only
table.
released like 3 months ago, correct?
Yeah.
End of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim, do you have anything to add to that? Since they mentioned Jay said.
Yeah, I mean, let me in. I kind of go to a special. I try to write from a special place every time, and a lot of times I'll harken back to something that I went through, or that that I see other people going through, or I'll see I try to make you feel positive about something. I don't know. I don't like to write negative stuff, but I'll try to write something that makes you feel to get the most out of yourself, if that's what it means. Like I always call it self-improvement lyrics, but in this case, Let Me In, I kind of harken back to anybody that's ever gone through a divorce or a death. In my case, it was a divorce, and how oftentimes if you have children and you go through a divorce, children can go through a lot, and they can have a struggling relationship with one or both parents. And in my case, I wrote it toward, let me into my daughter and about my get through to her. We're great now, but back in that time, 15 years ago, it's tough times for anybody that's gone through a divorce. Children are always like the byproduct of something else, of what's going on there, and things go wrong, and that's what I wrote about. I wrote it to her, about how I felt at the time and about me trying to reestablish our relationship. So that's it's always I always tried to write something from the heart. So it's not, I don't write BS. A lot of my lyrics rhyme, but it's it's a stick in your mind more than anything else. But that's what that song's about to me. But like I said, beauty's in the eye of the listener and the beholder. So you can change that. You can make that message to, adapt to whatever you're going through in life.
All right, so here's where I'm going to, I mentioned the theme of the music in this show. Now I'm going to let everyone in on what that is. So way back at the beginning of the episode, you got to hear a song. It was A Common Crown, Broken Glass. And what we're going to hear next, we're going to play two songs here in the break. The first one is After the Fall, Ride or Die. And then we're going to listen to Blood Union's Let Me In. And we may even hear some Heathen Parade at the end.
It's like a J, the J hour.
I do that from time to time.
That's cool.
If there's a Rock for Life show coming up, you'll notice that my playlist is usually the bands that are on that bill. So I kind of throw in some hidden things every once in a while. This one I gave away.
And all those bands you mentioned too, even though Jay's in most of them, we all great people. We get along with them, good friends of ours. So play it away. So.
All right, so we're gonna listen to After the Fall, Ride or Die. Ride or Die, and Blood Union, Let Me In, and we'll be right back. For those of you that are watching live or watching the video, and it's your first time, you don't actually get to hear the music right now. You'll have to wait until Friday. You go to buildascene.com or to any of the radio stations that I mentioned at the beginning that I'm not going to mention again, because there's just too many of them. Or you can go to this Blood Union's Facebook page, and there's a Reverb Nation link there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
good luck. Why do you think I haven't pointed at anything?
Nice.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
I love it.
I was on my American Idol, like, play us, call.
I gave up on trying to point at things because I can never. Yeah, I was trying to point at Ben G. Yeah, no.
So, Bill, can I ask you a question?
Do you want to do it off the episode, or you want to do it on the episode?
I don't know. I was just wondering, like, how do you pick your bands for the show? Is it a band that you like? Is it a band you think needs, or you want to help out, or what's?
So,
is it out of pity?
You know what? Let's do that on the air.
Okay.
Nice.
So now I'm going to bring us back in, and we'll go from there. You can even just do it just like that. Hey, can I ask you a question? That happens occasionally.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Bill, let me ask you a question. How do you put your bands on this show? How do you pick people? What's your process?
So the answer is there really isn't one. Sometimes they submit music out of the blue, and I listen to it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I'll send a message. I'm like, hey, you want to come on the show? sometimes I post on Facebook and say, hey, I have all these shows open. Anybody interested? And, I do listen. There have been some bands that I've told them, listen, not yet. Submit some stuff down the road because I can't play what you're doing. And the one that I'm thinking of, he has actually been on the show since. But it's in the beginning, it was whoever would come to my house and play. But really what happened with you guys was I was looking to book and I was like, Jay's in a bunch of bands. And I went, let's see, which one do I want to talk to? Yeah. Generally, what I try to do is, like, if I see a flyer for a show that's coming up, it's a benefit show, and I'm familiar with the bands, I'll contact one of the bands, say, hey, do you want to come on and talk about this show? If there's a new song coming out, hey, do you want to come promote your song? The reason I picked you guys when I decided to contact Jay was because I did see that the Let Me In track, and it was getting a lot of listens. So I was like, that could help me.
Oh, yeah, buddy. It should always be reciprocating, we should all be trying to help one another.
Yeah, we should. It should be a big circle. We put it, just so you know, we put a lot of promotion. We just don't put a song out and walk away from it. We network with playlists, people that run playlists and everything. That's what we do. You have to. That's the only way. If I release, that if you put a song on Facebook, 5 of your friends will like it. No one will share it, and it'll die the next day. No. We keep going and going and going on it. So it's a lot of work. It is.
I'll throw some numbers at you.
Nice. I'm going to plug my phone in.
Okay.
My phone's dying.
Let me try that again.
Okay.
I don't know. I swiped my touchpad and it took me off the website.
Benji's plugging his phone in.
So I haven't looked at it in a few months, but the Build the Scene website usually gets between 250,000 and 300,000 hits a month.
Nice.
Very nice.
And then, the podcasts really where those are getting, like when they're being played on XRP Radio, XRP Radio has 13,000 followers on Facebook. Rootaroo is in the double digits, thousands. So, the reach is there. And, I've talked to bands. I didn't interview them, but I played their song. There's a band in Iran. They're a metal band. And of course I can't remember their name right now, but it's actually illegal to make metal in Iran.
Oh yeah.
And
I did hear that. Yeah.
They tracked me down and were like, hey, will you play this? I'm like, absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
I've talked to people in Wales, all over Scandinavia, Italy. I actually spoke Italian in that episode. Not much of it. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's no real, if you've listened to that episode or you've been in one like you guys are right now, there's no script to anything I do with this. So, it's, if you listen to the intro to the song or the show, it talks about walking backwards, which is a Creep song. And that's kind of how all of this has happened through the years. I was kind of walking that way and ended up facing this way and doing something different. Right down to the first episode of this show being a spur of the moment. The guy was running a radio station and needed to remove a virus from his computer. So Brian and I took over, and that has led to 638 episodes.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So you definitely have a working system and program. You're doing 638 shows. So kudos to you, and there's great photos too.
There's no support level for us, but you people. That's the thing about it. There is no support level for us. can't get on radio unless it's hard to get on regular radio. But you guys are sport level. I'm the fans. That's all it is. So appreciate anything.
My favorite thing, well, two of my favorite things about doing this is, one, I get to meet a lot of new people and hear a lot of new music. And back when I wasn't into music until 1996, which is when all of this really started. If you go back, and it all started with a band called Hybrid, which was Steve and Matt Ferrani, Tim Henry, and John Coslin. I was teaching myself how to design a website, and I came across their website and it wasn't done. And I was like, I'll use their content, and just because I was trying to teach myself. And then next thing I knew, I was doing their website, and then I was doing
probably multiple bands' websites.
Steve's brothers, Bruce, his band Sundog, and then they broke up, and Chris Riggy ended up in Cage, and I was doing Cage's website, and then Doppler Effect, and it just, and that's where the music came from that Brian and I played on the first show, is all the bands that I was doing websites for.
That's crazy.
But let me give you guys two more questions, and then I'll let you ride off into the sunset. These are the two easy ones that I told you that I was going to ask you at the end. Where can the listeners track you down online? Like, if you want to, like, where's the one best place? And I'm going to put Facebook up on the screen, but you don't have to say that one.
Follow us on Spotify.
No.
All our songs are on there. Or Apple Music, any of those sites. Instagram.
The streaming services run there.
Yeah, Spotify. And if you don't pay for something, YouTube has everything we have. It's on, if you don't pay for streaming service or whatever.
And lastly, what's coming up next for you guys? What do you have lined up?
More songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got two
have
new songs ready, and we got a show at Jurgles coming up Sunday, November 13th, right? Correct. And that's with Last in Line, which is actually Dio without Ronnie James Dio. So it's Vivian Campbell and the rest of the guys that was behind Ronnie James Dio, and with just a different singer. So that should be a good turnout. And like I said, we got two songs that are coming down the pipeline right now. So I'd say within the next month or so, we'll be ready to record those. Okay. Actually, one of them we just played at Jurgles, our last show, and I think it's going to be our best song. It's going to be our best song. I guarantee it.
We got a real good response from that. That surprised me. We're done with the song and the way the people reacted. We also have a song done too. It's in the studio. We just haven't finished the vocals on it. Yep. So we're constantly.
We try to release a song like every 2 months, every 3 months. That way we just stay on the radar too. We have CDs at shows which you can buy and stuff, but some people actually want a physical copy of something, to take home or something. But we try to stay on the radar by releasing a song every 2 to 3 months. That way you stay on the radar. Some people just release a whole album, and then everybody's attention span's measured in nanoseconds. So they just click, 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 and it goes to the back of the card, and they throw another album in. So if you just give them a little bit to chew on every couple of months, you stay in their mind for sure.
I have a 6 CD changer in my car right now. There are 4 local bands and two Kiss CDs.
Nice. What Kiss CDs?
I think I have Double Platinum and Live in there right now.
Nice. Oh. I love Double Platinum.
But the 2 of the 4 local bands currently are Black Ridge, but they rotate. My daughter has recently gotten into Black Ridge, and
really good, really talented band. Wow.
Yeah, I've only caught a little bit of them, but from what I've seen, they're a fantastic band. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, my kids are. My son is 14 and my twin daughters are 12. Yeah, 12, and they just turned 12. And they really they know what I do, and they're all into music, just not generally what I listen to. They all play instruments, they all sing. They're in choir and musical and community bands, and music is a big thing in this house. But my daughter, one day I was playing Blackridge, and she's like, "Who is this?" So she's seen Blackridge play about 3 times now. She's
Nice.
also seen Doug Carnahan play 3 times acoustic. She's seen Doppler Effect, and she's seen Borstal Boys. So
She got to come see Blood Union next. That's
Yeah, break it out.
come somewhere close. She doesn't make it too late into the night.
I'm sure we'll have something coming up.
Yeah, but the Jurgles showed November 13th, opening for Last in Line. And because everybody plays in so many multiple different projects, we're limited, but we pick the best shows and try to do them. That's what we do, there's a lot of schedule conflicts, but we have the days open, we'll play them. And, our main goal is every show we play is let's do the best job we can and walk out of there with new fans. That's just how we look at it. So,
All right, so I told you I was only asking you those 2 questions, but I have one more. I lied. Where do you guys record at?
Tonic Studios in McKeesport.
Sonic, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Doug.
with
Yeah,
who?
Doug
I think
Casper.
Doug
Yeah.
Casper, yeah.
is Lee Caruso there too? I think maybe.
Yes.
It's Tonic.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get in touch with him again. It's been a while since I talked to him. But anyway,
Nice.
it was awesome having you guys on. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
Thanks.
us.
Thanks.
And what we're going to do now is we're going to play some more of the best unsigned rock and metal that Pennsylvania has to offer. Probably going to be Heathen Parade.
Nice.
It's not, I don't have the music physically here yet. That's why I said probably. But and then when you hear John American Hill Jack Lane tell you how to subscribe, where to listen, and all the things he's going to say, you'll know that it is the end of the show. When that happens, that doesn't mean that you should tune out of the station you're listening to. You never know. You might find another awesome unsigned and independent band to check out. So with that said, make sure you check us out every Friday at buildatscene.com for the Pennsylvania Rock Show. 1st and 15th for 3 questions and a song. And Friendly Fire, you're just going to keep an eye out for, because we do not have a set schedule for that one being live. Generally, John and I are usually out taking photos, and we have kids, so its schedule isn't very set in stone for that one. Mostly it's my fault, but I throw some blame there so it doesn't sound like it's me. With that said, we will catch you next time.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.